Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of discussion on different types of manuscripts, how we choose to publish in different journals, and what are the tools are there for selection, and how you can maximize your impact by publishing in a good journal. As a scientist, in last 15 years, I have more than 60 publications with 19 as first author articles and 34 corresponding or co-corresponding author articles, and my citations are more than 6,500 till date with an H index of 33. I have reviewed 175 peer review articles as an reviewer, and I have served as associate editor for few of the journals you see here. We'll be discussing all those different formats for publication of scientific data or text, and then what are the strategies to maximize the impact. When we publish, what it means to us is to build trust or build your reputation in the field. Then without publication you will not get funding, so it's required for getting the funding. Then the third point is, by publishing we tell the world about the truth, the research we are working on, or the question we have asked, and what we have worked and what we have found on that regard. And then share the research with the peers, and that promotes collaboration and making a bigger impact in the society or in the scientific field. But for the world, basically our publication facilitate knowledge sharing with the whole world. It builds trust on science or scientific community by the industry, by the society, and it fuels future research and innovation. And then also the research publications many times lead to uh, making patents or products, and finally the healthcare sector takes it forward, and we have a better human healthcare system because of the science publication we are doing. Publication in the only like two kinds of articles. One is with data that have the research findings as the research or data articles, and the other one is review, that is basically summarizing the published data articles and finding new interpretation of the results. And then also review articles give direction to the field and ask different questions that the field want to know. Let's see what are different kinds of research articles or review articles are there for publications. Here what you see is mostly the data manuscript types. So these are the manuscript types available for you to publish your research data in the journals. So the first one is very popular, the article, research article, or report. These are different names used by the different journals. Then the communication and short article, these are shorter version of the articles. Then methods, uh, article, research, review, then study protocols, databases, web servers, data articles, registered report, and preprints. So these are different kind of article types available for you to publish your research, but you need to decide which one is best for you. So let's see how you can figure out which one you really need to look at it. So the research articles, as you all might be knowing, these have no limits. So they are like the full length articles, around 15 pages, and then 10 figures, tables and lot of data in the supplementary file, whatever number you can add. So research article is having a full length article with all research data. Then the short article or the communications are the concise version of the research article, but it has a limitation on the number of pages, number of words, and then the number of figures and table you can have. Usually short communications, they have less than four figures or tables combined, and other data can go as supplementary. Then the research notes are further shortened version of the research article. It can be just one page with one figure suggesting a new breakthrough or a very novel finding, but without a full length article, like not too much of supporting things, but one well documented uh, data that you think is going to change the field. So that kind of data goes as Bravia or a research note. Then the methods articles are basically research articles focusing on developing a method of immediate and general interest. And these articles are specifically only showing the data or the validation of the protocol they have developed. So these are basically research articles only, but discovering or improving and method that will be useful for the research community. And the study protocols are basically the detailed protocol thing. So a protocol with a detailed analysis how you do it. This may or may not contain data. There are only journals they publish study protocols like the bioprotocol journal. You don't need to put any data there, but the protocol you are publishing is step by step. So all the details and how you analyze the data and how you are interpreting it, everything need to be there. So those are the study protocols, with or without data you can publish. And the most valuable resource for the researchers are the databases. So if you see, if you have lot of data that cannot be uh, put as figures in like three or four figures or 10 figures, and you have lot of data that is useful for the scientific community, like sequencing data, you have whole bunch of data from the patients that you cannot analyze every details of it or every single uh, um, discoveries. So you can put that as a database. So these databases can be completely new with lot of data. It can be an updated resource where you can put uh, update the previously published database into version 2, version 3 with more updated features or more data adding to the previous one. And the other useful thing in case of the if you have huge amount of data is to put it as a web server. So web servers mostly are very useful for the researchers if someone want to know something about a specific gene or specific interaction, or they want to design primers. So most of you might have used this kind of web servers for your research. As one example, like this is for one web server from our lab, that's pansat based. So here you can find all kind of circular RNA expressed in the pancreatic islets just by searching by any gene name, and the database will give you all the details of the circular RNAs. And you can design primers, you can find the sequence of the circRNA and whether this sequence is binding to any microRNA or not, whether it codes for any protein or not. So all that kind of information you can get from the web server. So these are very useful tools, and they give you a lot of citation because people use it. The other one is the data article or data notes. Basically, here what you do is if you have some data, you did not analyze it. Basically, like you didn't perform any experiments, but you have done the experiment up to data collection, like RNA sequencing, up to RNA sequencing from two different sets of tissues or disease samples you have done. But you are graduating or the lab doesn't have fund to do it, so the way to go forward is just publish the data as it is without analyzing it. So those are data articles. There are many journals who support this. So in this case you only say what has been done before the sequencing or how the data was collected, then let the other researchers download and analyze and do whatever they want to do. So this way your data will not be wasted. So you'll get a publication, but it is not a full-fledged publication. It only has data, like how you generated the data and the method you used for generating it. That's it. Then the most interesting part comes here is the registered report. So in this case, there are cases where you want to publish a registered report like the study plan. It is kind of a grant, like you write to the journal, everything is approved, and then whatever result come from that project will be published in this way. That reduces the publication bias. So most of the time we want to see result that matches with our hypothesis, but registered report doesn't need that. It needs a foolproof plan for an experiment. If whatever result comes, that is your result, irrespective of the hypothesis. So that's a good way to go. I wish more journals support this. And then the new way, the quick way to publish your research is the preprint. Just publish it in preprint so that you get the DOI and the whole world knows you are working on this. And if you are going for a job application, or you want to show that in your CV, so you can always showcase that in your CV before it is peer reviewed and published in a legitimate journal. But preprints are a good way to put your data into the public very quickly. If you want to publish something without having any research data, so those are mostly the review articles or the book chapters. So these are only text articles or graphical things you make or the figures you prepare, but it doesn't have any real data that goes into the publication. So if you see here, mostly the full length reviews have these are like full length articles without any restrictions on the text limit or the number of figures. But if you want to publish something in a shorter version, that is mini review, like 2 to 3 or 4 figures maximum. And they have page limits. Every journal have different word limits for the mini reviews. But both of them are good. If you want to have extensive and advanced review, go for the full length one. If you want to have a small one with like 4 or 5 pages, just go for the mini review and have the concise text on the specific topic. And the other one is the other small version of the articles are the commentaries, correspondence, editorial, and perspective. So these are basically, most of the time, commentary or correspondence are based on the previous publication. So if you want to comment on any publication, that goes as commentary or correspondence. And then the editorials are mostly done by the editors. So that is not for anyone to write the editorials. So if you are having a special issue, you are one of the editor, you can have the editorial. And then perspective is something very focused view on a specific topic in the field, and these are not regular submissions. You need to have a communication with the editor or prior approval from the editor to do it. But these are quick ways your opinion go to the public. Uh, Research articles, review articles are more of general kind, but these ones can have your thought into, like bring your thought into the audience. The last one with no data, that is the book chapter. So these book chapters are basically kind of review or methods, but they do get peer review. Although some book chapters are peer reviewed by the editorial team, if they have two, three editors making a book, they go through it, but it is not a kind of proper peer review, because it is mostly like grammatical style and other things, but not a peer review thing. So book chapters, anything you write can be published, and most of the time book chapters are invited. You do not submit book chapters to any book if they don't submit, they don't ask you to submit a book chapter. Let's see how what are the value of your publication. So if you publish something, if you talk about the scientific value, it is always the original articles or the research articles. And when it comes to the impact, it is the citation, how many people are actually following, whether it is a research article or review or a database. So that shows the value of your publication. So many times we think, okay, publishing in a very good journal gives you value. Yes, that is value, but the real value of any publication has to come from its usability. As research is like research, so people should be able to use your uh, publication in their research. So that shows when the people cite your research, or they take the data, they take the findings or the conclusions from your study and use it. So that shows the real value of the publications. If nobody cites, it doesn't matter where you are publishing. So in terms of scientific value, articles, short articles are the priority. Then reviews and mini reviews are come secondary. But your full length article has the maximum value for, or the short articles with data. But when it comes to the impact or citation, reviews and databases always get a lot of citations, because those are easy and people can you get the message from the story. And for the research articles, only people who are in your field they are following. So usually the citations are low for the research article, unless it's a breakthrough article that is disrupting the field, or it's a completely new concept. And as you can see here, like in my publications, so the most citation I get from the database, and this is one of the book chapters. So that also gives a lot of citation. The reviews, research, and the databases always get a lot of citation because of their usability, because they're useful for the researchers. They have data and people use it. That's why they get a lot of traction. One way to see the real impact of your research is by looking at your profile in Google Scholar or in Web of Science. In Google Scholar, you can see the H index, the citation. Most of my citation from a database, then a book chapter, then these are research articles. And if any of the research article they get more than 50 or 100 citations, so that means the publication is worth and they have made a dent in the same field. Way in uh, Web of Science, you have your publications that are in journals indexed in Web of Science. Sometimes some reviews or your book chapters may not be indexed in Web of Science, so you don't see them. But you will see all the publications those are listed in Web of Science. Along with that, you will see your peer review profile, how many papers you have reviewed, and where you stand in terms of the global profile of reviewers. Because of the citation and your name in position in the publication determine the impact. If it is a like 100 author paper and you are somewhere in the middle, it may not be that useful for your impact score. This was published like for last 4 5 years, and every year I've been ranked as one of the top scientists in the biomedical research field. This happens because of the citation, so it has nothing to do with the impact factor. In this way, if you look at it, I have publications, even one with just me as a single author, and that has given me more than 1,000 citations. So that gives a very high score for the impact of your publications. But there are publications which uh, are having less number of authors, and if you are at the beginning or at the end, they are more impactful than being in the middle. So that shows you have just contributed something, but it is not your conceptualization, not your money, or not your idea. The first author and the last author are the people who actually own the paper. So try to be in those positions which will give you the impact. Hope it was really useful, and I hope you can use these tricks to have your publication in a perfect journal in your field and have more impactful dissemination of your research or review articles. Thank you.